And a word of warning, if you should lose your key, it's a very, very, very long climb up the outside of this wall. So whatever you do, don't lose your key, will you? And on the other side of the Narva River, we have some fishermen. See how shallow the river must be. Very scenic. And of course, now I wish the sun was out. It isn't out. They're plotting against me. Bit of a shame. What on earth happened here? We have some kind of historical building, but it's just fallen into disuse and obviously in poor condition, not used anymore. The roof's caved in, I can see. At least partially through some of the windows. But conversely, somebody has tried to beautify it a little bit, which is nice to see. I can't imagine what it was before. It looks like a bit of a mixture of building styles going on here. I'm in the middle of Garasovi Park, I believe it's called. I don't know if he was somebody with money who built himself a bit of a folly with these out of place classical pillars. It's a real curiosity, this one. I don't know what it used to be used for. I don't know what it could be used for again. It's now in the middle of a park. Perhaps these were his extensive grounds at one time and he was a wealthy industrialist of some type. I know there was a watermill built here by the head of the Tsar's finance ministry. I think his name was Baron Stieglitz back in the day. I don't know who Vasily Gerasimov is, and again, it's a job for Google or Wikipedia or both, depending on how much information you can get out of either. Slight distraction on the way to the Krinholm manufacturing site. But that in itself is a little confusing because I know it exists in more than one place. The little island, which runs down the middle of Narva River, we've seen it a couple of times already. On there, the manufacturing site was based, but also on what, for better description, I will call the mainland. There was also part of the business on this side as well. I'm hoping that what I'm not going to see on that little island will be missable. I'll never know, will I? And what is the really attractive red brickwork will be on this side of the river in about 10 minutes time of walking. Time will tell. This is a lovely park though. There's a war memorial over there, not surprisingly, in the middle of the park. A little bit short on fountains and sculptures and things of that sort, but still it's a park more designed for calm reflection perhaps, and that's why there is that war memorial there. And a lot of this architecture, which harks back to the old Soviet days, doesn't it? And here we've got somebody of note, but I don't know who it is. Still don't know who it is. Annelia Kreisberg is the lady's name. Died young, obviously. Only 27. Bit of a disappointing socialist realist piece of artwork behind her, which is totally out of place. Or maybe that's not out of place, but the bust of her is. And there's the beginnings of this red brickwork here, which I fancy may link this lady with the Grinholm Manufacturing Company. Or maybe not. There's more of it down here. I'm going to look in here and see what I can find before I get told to get lost and put my camera away and stop being a nosy bugger. Now with these, again I'm going to say one of those silly things, were these homes for the workers, or were these manufacturing mill buildings where the weavers and the machine operators were all hard at work? We're on our way and getting closer with every step. Unless, of course, we've just hit the part of the old factory which exists on this side of the water. But I think there may be a little bit more further on. Better keep going. Well, here's some unexpected artwork. Nothing sensational, but it's something. And just a little bit more here on the corner of this building, which may or may not have once been something of note. Sporty, so maybe it was an indoor sports facility. Unfortunately, it's kind of half dropping off the wall. But never mind. And here's a rather smart exterior, which is surprising given that it's backing onto the grassy part here, not facing to the road where you'd expect the most attractive features to be. Can't wait to see the other side. This is certainly smart. And it's definitely a sort of back to front building, I guess, in its time. This was the back facing the road, and the more appealing, attractive side was what everyone would have actually seen if they were approaching the building. Must be a modern road here, I guess. And while we have some more of these red brick buildings on the right hand side of the road, I can't help thinking that perhaps it's the left hand side of the road which is what I'm actually looking for. There are a good number of red brick buildings on that right hand side, which Google Maps indicated was the side of the old manufacturing company site. However, when I look across here, well, there's some kind of bug trying to get in on the action. Enormous, aren't they, really? When you think of how small Narva is and what you imagine the population would have been like, to find all these buildings of industry, they must have completely transformed the entire economy and appearance and social structure within the city and the surroundings, because lots of people no doubt flocked to Narva to work in these large Victorian era, I was going to say workhouses, but manufacturing plants. Massive industry going on here. I wonder if we can see much more. Let's go a little further, shall we, and then turn and look left. And when we do that, what do we see? Even more. Hard to get a grasp of the extent of this huge site. And the trees aren't helping, I must say, although they look very nice. Almost like an industrial palace, isn't it? I'm amazed it's in such good condition, and the glasswork in those window frames is in such good condition. Maybe there are some renovations going on inside. Fenced off. I think you'd have to be a local to know what the future holds for this site. It'd be fabulous if you could just roam in, of course, but health and safety probably wouldn't allow you to do that. Perhaps there's none of the old machinery inside anyway. Too bad. Not on this occasion. Next time, perhaps, it will be partially open at least as some kind of science, historical, business park, information centre, learning centre. I don't know what it could be used for, but it's massive. And right here at the Estonian border with Russia. Would you want to invest? Well, not really a full day in Narva. At the end of my trip to Narva, it's the long journey back to Tallinn. And more trees than there must be worried sheep in Australia, New Zealand, and Wales, all put together. Millions of them. So many trees. Enough trees to drive a madman sane if he wasn't careful. There's some very curious place names in Estonia, you may have noticed. The next station is Kabala. Don't know if you just heard that announcement. Puts me in mind of Israel. Kabbalah? But no, don't think they've got as many trees as this in Israel. Maybe there's a Jewish community in the town.